Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? This is HBT with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Here live, man, to do a show for you guys, man. I'm just going to talk a little bit here. I'm talking about the eye test in wrestling and what it means, man, to the wrestling fan. My man Christopher Burton's out with me because Christopher Burton is out at an indie show. I didn't go to the indie show tonight because I'm here taking care of my nephew, and I have my son. You know, actually, my son don't actually need me to be here with him, but my nephew definitely does. Autistic, both of them actually autistic, but my son definitely can take care of himself. What's up, Braden? My man Braden BRM is in the house. But yeah, Christopher Burton is in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, covering that indie show. And usually I always go. Actually, was going to take Hunter tonight. Asked Chaz, my son Chaz, but Chaz did not want to go out to this show. So basically, man, I am here, and I'm gonna do a little. I'm a little talking with you guys, and it's kind of funny some of the things that go on. Anytime I decide to go on, or anytime we decide to have a live, man, there's always so many different factors come in, so many different things that interfere with these shows. Anytime that we decide to go live, especially myself, it's always something that comes in that slows it down. It's kind of funny when it boils down to it. You know, maybe I can't find what I need, or, you know, I'm coming up with a different topic because sometimes I change some of the things that I want to talk about. But hey, yeah, I'm just going to talk about, man, I'm going to talk about the eye test tonight. So yeah, basically that's what I'm pretty much talking about the eye test in wrestling. And it's very important for wrestlers, man, to pass the eye test. And that's not saying that all wrestlers got to look like a Lex Luger or look like a Braun Breaker, LA Knight, or something like that, or look like Brock Lesnar. That's not what this is about. That's not what wrestling is about. When I was growing up, man, I mean, wrestling, a wrestler looked a certain way. You know, usually look different than the general public when it boils down to it. And once again, I'm not talking about you have to be a bodybuilder or somebody like that, but you need to come off to the public as a wrestler. When we turn on that TV, you can say, hey, that's a wrestler. You know, that looks like a wrestler. And it didn't always happen back in the day, because you used to have these matches. If you go back and you look at a lot of old wrestling matches, you had guys that look like wrestlers, and then you had guys who look like mailmen, guys who look like construction workers, guys that looked like, you know, they was working the back line at Burger King or something like that, or McDonald's or Hardee's. So you definitely had those type of guys that was in the wrestling business, and, you know, they was called jobbers, and they got beat up to the guys that look like wrestlers. But a wrestler, man, that looked like a wrestler that jumped out at you is very important. So let's talk about this eye test. And I don't know why in the world I'm getting caught up here a little bit, but let's talk about this eye test and who are the guys that we have today that passed the eye test. Now, when I was growing up, you know, one of the first wrestlers I saw was a guy named Brute Bernard. And you talking about passing the eye test, but, you know, he had this craziness type thing, the craziness type thing about him. And he walked around the ring going, yeesh, 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 you know, but he was bald-headed, looked a lot like George the Animal Steele. If you want to look up George the Animal Steele or Brute Bernard, he looked a lot like him, but he looked rugged, mean, tough, like one of these guys you didn't want to handle on the streets. So that was my first, to me, that was the first guy that I looked at, and I said, oh, okay, this is what a wrestler is. But, you know, he had some mental incapabilities up there, man. It seemed like, you know, he's a little mental, a little crazy or whatever. But, you know, as my thinking at that time, you as a little kid, I'm thinking you had to be crazy to get in there and just beat the living crap out of somebody. Somebody beat the crap out of you, and you keep going anyway. And let me talk about a tag team that I remember, the Anderson brothers, Ole and Gene Anderson, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. These guys, one of them, Gene Anderson, he was like 6'1", 6'2", weighed maybe 210, 200, anywhere from 210 to 230 pounds, and, you know, had that little fat gut or whatever. And Ole was just big, barrel chested, big dude. If you look at Ole, you look at Arn Anderson and what he had, the way he looked in the Four Horsemen, that was Ole Anderson, a little bit bigger though. But those two pretty much mirrored each other, and that's why Arn was able to come in as an Anderson, and that thing worked well because he looked a lot like Ole Anderson. So that was my first introduction. Then I remember a big, huge guy come on the scene named Hack. Well, he was already in wrestling, but the first time I saw Haystacks Calhoun. Haystacks Calhoun. They had him billed at 700. I don't know if he was at 700. He might have been at 5. He might have been anywhere from 580 to 640 or something like that. But huge guy. And so I looked at him as a wrestler too. I'm like, man, that is what a wrestler looks like. And then I saw Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch and people like that. And then I saw then I started seeing the muscular guy. The first muscular guy I saw was Superstar Billy Graham. And I'm like, man, now that is a quintessential wrestler. So, but I looked at the body types of Superstar Billy Graham, Dusty Rhodes, and people like that and said, that is a wrestler. But then again, I saw guys that were just pretty much slim guys like a Jack Briscoe, and he had a body type that fit a wrestler. So yeah, that's very important. And that's one thing we're going to do. I'm going to hold a survey and I'm going to ask everybody in the group, man, to name off some of these wrestlers who you think today has a body type as a wrestler. So we're going to go ahead and rank these guys and give them star rankings on that when Chris comes back. So hopefully we'll be able to do this within the next couple of days. All right, my man Braden BRM is in the house. Rick Joe says, sup, Harry? You hear Shawn Michaels was backstage in SmackDown. I don't know if that means he's going to help. And also WWE is interested in some AEW contract that will be expiring. Yes, no doubt. Definitely heard about that, Rick Joe. And that is some very serious things going on. Some very serious works. And hopefully a couple of these guys, and they some big names over in AEW, will be able to sign contracts and go over to WWE. I would love to see that. All right, my man Frank Benjamin. What's up, Frank Benjamin? Frank Benjamin in the house. And JL said, bro, what's up? Okay, I had a very bad edit. Right now, I am working on the best tribute of all time. Just wait, a fresh, juicy piece of content cooking right now. And JL, we know what that is, man. And speaking of JL, your boy, Bron Breakker, definitely a body type, a wrestler that passes the eye test. And right now, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about wrestlers, and I'm talking about the eye test. But Bron Breakker definitely passed the eye test. But just because Bron Breakker passes the eye test, does that mean that Joe Gacy doesn't pass the eye test? Yes, Joe Gacy passed the eye test. I can look at him and say he's a wrestler, man. He's one of these guys that remind me of a big boss man. Somebody like that. He reminds me of Kevin Owens. So you don't have to be a Billy Jack Haynes. You don't have to be a Tony Atlas. You don't have to be you don't have to be Hulk Hogan to have the body type to fit the wrestling mode. But hey, we will go over. That's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over a lot of different wrestlers, and I want your guys' opinion on what these guys their ranking is on a star ranking of their bodies, man. So I mean, yeah, that's very important for the fans to actually turn on TV and say these guys look like wrestlers. And speaking of AEW, I hate to say it, when I first I turned it on and started watching AEW. And, yes, I did. I saw the first initial show that they showed on TV. I saw like the first 3 weeks. And, I really looked at it. I really wasn't looking at it like that. I was just looking at the product that he put in the ring and trying to check out and see if they put on good matches. And then I didn't watch it for like a year and a half. And then Chris got me back into it. And we started this straight up wrestling show with our partner, Michael King. And that's when we first went back, I started watching AEW. That's the first thing that struck me was the body types, how these guys look in the ring. Same thing like when I played football, man, or if you're a football coach or whatever, if you're a very good football coach, you notice the players that you have. You look at the players you have and you try to coach up the way they run and the way they look on the field. You try to build them up. And that's the thing about wrestling. When I first went back in June of 2021, started watching AEW, I looked at the wrestlers that they had, and half of that roster didn't look like wrestlers. Did not remind me of anything, any kind of body type that a wrestler will look like. And it's not just that they didn't look like wrestlers; they didn't present themselves as wrestlers. What I'm trying to say is their gear and things like that did not help. So I think that was a put off. It was a put off to me as an old fan old school fans coming in to see that, they didn't look like wrestlers. So, that's one thing I definitely want to talk about. And let me go and get back to some of these comments, guys. All right. JL says Rookie of the Year. All right, Frank Benjamin. Shawn Michaels was backstage last night. How you feel about that, Harry? I'll tell you about that in just a minute, Frank. JL, and what were you saying? Braden says Mandy Rose passed the eye test. No doubt about it, Braden. No doubt, man. No doubt. As far as female wrestlers, and I tell you what, we didn't have female wrestlers that looked like that back in the 70s. I mean, there was some good-looking girls, man, back in the 70s, 80s when I was growing up that was wrestling, but they definitely didn't come out, man, banging, looking like her. I mean, Trish Stratus and, those girls like that, those females, Stacy Keibler and people like that, they changed that. They changed the whole game, man. It became something totally different. Sable. So, wrestling changed. And I have to say, I have to throw Missy Hyde in there before that. Missy Hyde and Sunny, they was mostly valets and stuff like that, but they did get into the ring, but they changed the perception of the way the females was going to look in the ring. But yeah, Mandy definitely passed that eye test, Braden. All right, JL, Rookie of the Year, next Wrestler of the Year. I know Boy Scout passes the eye test. JL, so does Ridge. Yeah, Ridge Holland passes the eye test. No ins, ands, buts about it. He's a little stout. He's stocky. Stout. He's stocky. I think he can get a little bit more cut, and I think that will help him a little bit more in the ring. It would generate more people looking at him, even though, like I said, he does look, he passed that eye test. But, I do think there's some more things that he should do to actually, enhance that. Okay. All right, my man, Jonathan Sam. Sup, Harry? Oscar passed the eye test. No doubt. No doubt. Yes, she does. She's beautiful, and people like her and her style, and she plays her character, any character good. Yes. Danny Aaron, what's up, Danny Aaron in the house? And like I said, man, what's up to my man Jonathan Sam? Danny Aaron says, "Sup, Harry? There's rumors Gunther is going after the world championship and possibly win if Hunter likes him and he passed the eye test. He reminds me of a wrestler back then like Andre and Bruno. No doubt about it. He passed the eye test 100%. First thing that I thought when I saw him, I was thinking of somebody like a Killer Kowalski. That's who this guy. He definitely reminds me of Killer Kowalski. Yes, he passes it 100%. Also a Baron Von Raschke, but a more in shape Baron Von Raschke and an up straight Baron Von Raschke. He reminds me of. So yes, very, very good observation, Danny Aaron. And yes, Gunther definitely passed that eye test. All right, Braden BRM. Yeah, Madcap passes the eye test. Madcap is a throwback, man. He's a Billy Jack Haynes. He's a Billy Jack Haynes type guy. He's not as built, but he's a Billy Jack Haynes or Hercules Hernandez type guy that's in the ring today. He passes the eye test 100%. And like I said, guys, it's not all about, muscular wrestlers. It's not all about a muscular wrestler or how big a wrestler is. And speaking of eye tests, at AEW, we had Lance Archer come in the other day. Came in Friday night on Rampage yesterday. And Lance Archer, you talking about somebody that passed the eye test, or was it Wednesday? I can't remember. But he definitely passed the eye test, and he should have been on the show, man. He's been in Japan. So I go ahead and take that back. He's been in Japan, but he passed the eye test. You need wrestlers like that. And when you have so many of them that do pass the eye test, then it's going to be less focus on the other guys who don't pass the eye test. And speaking of eye tests, and one good thing about eye test is a wrestler who can be in the ring and he passes the eye test before he gets in the ring, and his wrestling style and his skills pass that eye test 100%. Kind of like a Ric Flair. This guy passed the eye test, man, not just before he went in the ring, but when he went inside the ring, the eye test was heavy on him. And man, it was just great. It's outstanding. And so, I give somebody like that an A+ on that scale, or 5-star, maybe 5.5 stars on that, because he passed the eye test in the ring and outside of the ring, just like Bruno Sammartino passed it, and just like what Danny was saying. But you look at somebody like Bryan Danielson. When I look at Bryan Danielson, he definitely don't look like a wrestler to me. But inside the ring and his performance and everything, he passes that eye test. So when he goes out, then he looks more like a C-level type wrestler. But inside the ring, he looks like a B+ wrestler. So that brings his rating up. So definitely, I'm going to go over a lot of different things, man, and a lot of different, we want to analyze these guys on the eye test as far as the way they look. But that's very important, the eye test here in wrestling. All right, man. So give me just a second, guys. I want to test something out. Just a second. You might hear a little echo here. Let's see. Oh, but I'm still here with you. I want a little echo here. Okay. All right, guys. All right. Let me make sure I don't miss anything here. Yeah, Danny Aaron says Sheamus passes the eye test big time. Big time. Sheamus remind me of, who is the guy that he remind me of? He still works for WWE. He's an Irish guy. I can't even think of his name, but Sheamus remind me of him. And both of these guys passed the eye test. The guy I'm thinking of, I'll talk about him a little bit later, maybe tomorrow, if I remember him tonight. All right. Danny Aaron says Killer also, Harry. Yes. Danny Aaron, when Gunther debuted, I was like, who's this big fella? Imagine him and versus Bruno. He remind me so much like him. I don't know why. Well, he's Bruno, even though Bruno was a compact guy, strong guy, and basically he wrestled a lot like what Gunther does. But I think Gunther has a few more moves than Bruno. Bruno was a power guy, very much power guy. He didn't run a lot of plays. He didn't have to, but very much power and very much did a lot of bear hugs, a lot of, slamming you down and, using a lot of knees. Bruno just was one of these wrestlers that he could come off as an amateur wrestler, but he wasn't. He used a lot of power moves and things like that, and that's probably why Gunther reminds you of him. But when I think about Gunther, after you done mentioned it, man, definitely he reminds me of you would think of a taller Bruno in that body. 100%. 100%. All right, man. Let's see. All right, Jonathan Sam, my man. Jonathan Sam says Ava Raine, aka Rock's daughter, soon. Yes, definitely can't wait to see her in the ring. We most likely see her. I'm not sure. We might most likely probably see her within the next 5 or 6 weeks, making a debut, or even earlier than that. But who knows? Who knows? She definitely needs to get into the ring. She has a mic work down. I say she has a mic work down pack, and she adds a lot to Schism. Without her, Schism will be still a nice group, but she adds that flavor. She adds that flavor that they actually need to put them over the top. So yes, I definitely like Ava Raine a lot, and hopefully she'll be in the ring soon to show us what she can do, man. 100%. All right. Jonathan Sam said Rhea Ripley passed the eye test. She's so good at what she does. Or what she do. No doubt, Jonathan Sam. She passed the eye test in every single way, man. She's beautiful, and she knows how to work. She knows how to work, and she knows how to make the wrestling. She makes women wrestling look good, very professional. So if you want to look toward anybody, want to look toward a female wrestler and say, hey, this is the wrestler right here. This is the modern day female athlete, modern day female wrestler. It's Rhea Ripley. She has it all. 100%. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Had some interference. Like I said, this right here was going to be short, but let me go ahead and get to everybody's comments real quick, because I got to run out of here. But this has been something short, and like I say, it's part one, and we want to come back and we want to talk about this a little bit later. And I have Christopher Burton with me tomorrow. He'll be talking about the show that he went to tonight. I didn't get to go. We always go to the show together, and I know they both were looking for HBT and the People's Podcaster, but we definitely didn't do that. So let me go ahead and get to these comments real quick, guys. All right, man. Rick Joe says some don't like him, but dude, very creative. Cough, cough. Bray Wyatt. Yes, no doubt. Everybody pay attention to him more than people wrestling like how rapper like Buster because of futuristic style. Same for Missy, Harry. Yeah. When he does get in the ring, yeah, Bray Wyatt definitely he has that build, he has that look of a wrestler. He does, man. So I'll give that to you, Rick Joe. He definitely reminds of a wrestler, man. Rick Joe said Sheamus remind me of Irish legendary own Fit Finley, Harry. That's him. That's him. And I said this I said this probably about a few shows back. I couldn't remember the name. Chris said Fit Finley. I said yes, because yes, I always say that every time I see him, man, I think about Fit Finley. Yes, 100%, Rick Joe. Thank you on that. Travis Chris, sup, Harry? Who passed the eye test? Sorry to say it. JC Jane, she has potential. Same for Gigi Dolan. No doubt. No doubt. I agree. Travis Chris. Cool Kamasi. What's up, straight up? Just subscribe. Great work. Thank you, Cool Kamasi, man. Definitely be looking out for more content from us, man. We appreciate it 100%. We like to engage with everybody. So, Cool Kamasi, man. Everybody welcome man, Cool Kamasi, for joining in with us. Travis Chris, Tiffany Stratton, Harry. Yes, no doubt. I'd like to see more of her in the ring, though, Travis, definitely. Travis Chris, Charlotte, yes, she passed the eye test by interest alone and superstar feel in and out of the ring. Travis Chris says Chyna back then passed the eye test. Big time. Didn't matter what kind of zone you wanted to put her in, however way you wanted to market her in wrestling, she definitely passed it. Yeah, Jade Cargill, 100%. Danny Aaron, and that's another Chyna, man. That's another Chyna. Danny Aaron. We forgot to mention his name, Harry. No wonder it. Dark, laugh out loud. WWF legend Undertaker, 100%. Kane, Undertaker. They passed the eye test big time. My man Danny Aaron, he's cracking up. Cool Kamasi, Solo Sikoa all the way. Yes, he is a unique Samoan who fits the real life brawling Samoan gimmick. Yeah, man, look, this guy, as soon as I seen him, he throws me a throwback to Professor, not the Professor, but back to Alpha and Sika and all those guys, man, the Samoan Kid, all those guys from back in the day. All right, Danny Aaron, The Rock passed the eye test. Even girl want him and man want to be him. Yeah, 100%, no doubt, man. All right, Rick Joe, Brock, yes. Bobby Lashley. These guys passed the eye test. And, hey, man, I'm going to even go as far as say Jon Moxley passed the eye test. Even though he tries to play it up and he runs around, he shakes his head and all that stuff and getting all nutty. He don't have to do all that. He definitely passed the eye test. Even Adam Page passed the eye test. So I'm definitely going to give some of these guys at AEW a shout out because some of them do pass the eye test. But, this Orange Kool-Aid, Orange Crush, what is his name, man? Orange Cassidy. I looked at him when I first seen him, man. I just laughed. I'm like, that guy don't look like a wrestler. Look like some cool guy trying to hang out downtown Greenville or on the corner or whatever. Hang out with girls, man. Have people out there hanging out with him. Yeah, Rick Joe, Umaga, Solo, Harry. Yes. Rick Joe, Eddie. Yeah, that's his father, right? No, yeah, I think so. All right, Rick Joe, Eddie Kingston, laugh out loud. Hey, man, I was gonna mention Eddie Kingston too. Eddie Kingston. There was wrestlers that look like him. Eddie, I think he needs to lose a little bit of gut. It's okay to be big, man, but lose a little bit of gut. All right, Cool Kamasi, Austin Theory coming up too, no doubt. That he passed the eye test straight up. Rick Joe, Kenny Omega passed it because of interest. Again, yes, he passes. Even without the interest, he passes it. In the ring, he looks like the quintessential wrestler, man. Straight up. Rick Joe, no, Harry Solo remind me of Umaga so much, and they are family also. Yes, they are. Yeah, Seth Rollins passes it too. He definitely does. But guys, man, I got to go. I just had an important phone call. I have got to go and pick somebody up. But I definitely appreciate you guys joining me in tonight. But before you guys leave out, man, if you on Facebook, hit that like, share, join. If you on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe. And just like my man Cool Kamasi did, so hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on like times like these. And when I put this thing over on Twitch, do the same thing. And over on Twitter, like, share, tweet, and retweet. I am getting out of here, guys. Let me get these last few comments. All right. Rick Joe, Triple H in the 90s. Yes. Cool Kamasi. Thank you for dropping the great stream. No doubt, Cool Kamasi. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate all you guys. And Rick Joe says, peace, Harry. And Rick Joe said, we got to do this with Chris, Harry. No doubt about that. See you guys, man. Have a good one. Stay straight up. Peace.